Alright, so I got my target air fuel ratio table corrected. I did add some acceleration enrichment and verified that my secondary fuel pumps are ready to come on at 150 kPa. And I'm just going to go drive it, try to dial in the fuel a little bit and to get into boost. I would like to do a decent pull on wastegate and see what gate is. It should be around 6 or 8 pounds, but that's just guessing based on the springs that came with it. So don't have a lot of time today. It's already getting dark. It's a good start. It's making 110 kPa. I was like almost 10 pounds, I think. I saw 150, maybe 160 kPa. Start a log. It's like 180 kPa. It just starts to spin. So I still haven't seen the boost controller or the boost level off. Maybe 180 is the peak. Wait, I gotta do the woo! The Hunter tune. Woo! I can't do it as good as he does though. Do one more little rip, then we'll head back. kPa, it just starts to lose the tires. Even rolling into it. I'll watch what mile per hour this time, and then I'll see when it starts to spin the tire. About 65, 70 when it lost the tires there. Like doesn't even have a chance at 70 miles an hour. 80%, but it just works. Well, I have it set to 50, so it can't be off by more than 50%. All right, so just a real quick look. Light blue line is the boost level, so that flattened out pretty nicely. This dark blue line is the injector duty cycle. The duty cycle is 35% at 177 kPa, so that is 11.3 pounds. So plenty of room there on the injectors. These are the Snake Eater 1400s. So this vertical line here is the secondary fuel pumps coming on, and you can see this little yellow line where it drops down. That's the air-fuel ratio line. So it's at about a 13 at the peak there, and it drops down right here to about 11.5 when the secondary fuel pumps come on. So the fuel pumps, I can tell, are definitely working. I'm not logging fuel pressure right now. Horizontal line right here is the target air-fuel ratio line. This is set to 12.5. So you can see the actual air-fuel just kind of hugs that line right real tight with it, which is really, really good to see, especially for a first drive. But here's the funny part. I'll turn on the closed loop compensation. That's what the closed loop looked like. So this closed loop compensation comes up to about 15% at the peak. When the secondary fuel pumps come on, it drops down to about 9% just from turning the fuel pumps on. And then the compensation came down to about 0% right here. So you can see the fuel was a little bit off, a little bit, 15%. And it's adding fuel, and the actual air-fuel ratio just kind of hugs the target line, which is awesome. So it's just funny because I remember with HP tuners going out, and I spent like a lot of time with HP tuners, and I would spend days sometimes just trying to like creep up on boost and make sure fuel is good. And this thing, you just tell it what you want it to do and go smash your pedal to the floor, and it just does that. So I'm just kind of fanboying the Holly right now because I'm impressed with it every single time that I do it. First time out getting into boost, 13 pounds. So if I look at the max column, boost was 12.7 pounds. So I just think that's funny. So here's the speed line on that one of the last polls that I wanted to see when the tires were going to spin. So you can see where the pitch of the line changes right here, and that's when the tire spin started. So you can tell tire started to spin, and then I lifted right when it started to spin pretty fast. So at this point right here, right when the wheels started to spin, is at 58 miles per hour. So top of the wheel spin was at 99 miles per hour after I lifted. So this red line is throttle, so I'm just kind of like easing into the throttle a little bit, and then finally went 100% up here, and that's about when the tire started to spin. So creeping up on throttle, 60 miles per hour, and then the wheel starts to spin. And that was at 7.5 pounds of boost when the wheel started to spin. So overall happy with where I left it today. I'm gonna hook a 3-port up to it, and I was gonna hook the 3-port up like 4-port, but I don't even think I really need to do that. If the base pressure is at 13 and I wanted to run around 25, 26 pounds anyways, I can probably just use a 3-port, honestly. So I did transfer the learning to base already. The table wasn't really that far off. In boost, it was only off by like 8-9% is what it was adding. So next time out, it'll even be more accurate than this. But I was just thinking back to some old videos with this. I watched the 10-second pass video when this truck went 10.7 and 10.8. There was a part that I was troubleshooting my boost control setup. I said in the video that the truck went 11.2 on around 9 pounds. It was like 8.8 pounds. The 10.7 pass ended up being around 17 to 18 pounds. And that was with broken second gear. So I had a broken intermediate snap ring, and what it was doing on the 1-2 shift, it would go to rev limiter, and then I would lift, and then I would get back on the throttle, but it would be in third gear at like lower RPM than the normal third gear shift. So I definitely lost a little bit of time there. It's already at 13 pounds. If I were to get it to that 17, 18 pound range, there's no reason that it shouldn't already be able to go 10s. The truck is lighter right now. I took all the 4-wheel drive stuff out. That was 4-wheel drive with street tires, and I took all the 4-wheel drive stuff out, lightened up the rear end. I definitely took weight out with the leaf springs. I'd like to run a drag radial on it, and it has a trans brake now. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but things are looking swell for this setup, we'll say that. So I might be starting with this setup where I ended before. So that would be sweet. Because if you guys are following on this, I did a lot of learning on this truck. So I learned with HP tuners, and I learned on the engine, learned on the transmissions. Like the first turbo setup I ever did was on this truck. So it was a long learning curve to get this truck to go 10s. So to be able to start in that same area from where I left off after years of learning on that thing, I'll be pretty excited. So I'm going to shut up because as soon as I talk about good stuff, then bad stuff starts to happen. And we don't want any of that.